Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of War of the Ring. Today I have a game for you sent in by TheFatHobbit, who's also got a YouTube channel where he commentates games, but he put this one out to the community, so I was able to pick it up. I know nothing about the game other than that he says it's a good one, so we'll jump on in and see what happens here. It is a league game between him and Gileforn. Hopefully that pronunciation is at least somewhat correct. TheFatHobbit is going to be the shadow here. Free People starts with Thranduil's Archers and Mirror of Gladriel. Obviously Thranduil's is good, and it's fun to have Mirror of Gladriel, whether or not it's good. Ooh, and Shadow has Morgul Wound, so that has a possibility of striking early. Let's dive on in and see what we see. Fellowship okay. 1 eye allocated. None more rolled. 2 musters rolled, so that's good for Shadow. Free rolls 3 characters and a will. All right. Free People passes. Saruman is mustered down. Nothing too crazy. Pass for free. Shadow draws. Yeah, Oleg High is probably not worth spending this early. Shadows is good, though. That's a good first draw. Oh, my. What? Okay. So Gileforn just spent all 4 dice and moved Aragorn and Strider and Boromir to Dol Amroth and crowned Aragorn, and just did it all in one move, which is, but if he's going to do that and pass up his opportunity to react, that's fine. Okay. Okay, well, that's one way to do it. All right. Saruman is mustered, which makes sense. Shadows is played. Lorien gets, heebie-jeebies as it is mega stacked on. All right. A game where Aragorn's crowned on turn 1. Those are fun and a little rare. Shadow draws Orc Patrol and Many Kings. Interesting. And actually, I didn't think to note this. A game where Aragorn is crowned with only 1 eye in the pool. That's even rarer. Orc Patrol and Many Kings for Shadow. What's Free People draw Smeagol, Helps Nice Master, and Faramir. Faramir could matter quite a lot, as Gondor has distinct possibility of mattering more this game than in some. Excuse me. 1 eye allocated, despite no moves for Free People last round. I'd be tempted to do no eyes here, but with no more rolled, I guess you're happy you didn't. 3 more musters is good for Shadow, though. And only 1 move for free, 1 will. Sauron is mustered to war, which makes a ton of sense. Draws a card. I'd be tempted to play Many Kings there. But okay. We're mostly here for the ride rather than a deep analysis, I would say. Smeagol Helps Nice Masters put in. Yep. Lorien is attacked. Cool. Fellowship moves. Safe. Shadow draws again. Really? Interesting. Okay. Get Shadows moving. A swarm of bats this early is nice. Boromir uses his ability on a Palantir to muster Gondor. Lorien is attacked. Interesting. Just going to barrel down Lorien now. Oh, to put them to war so you can get the Witch King. That makes sense. An Oleg High. Okay. 3 rerolls out of a We Come to Kill is good. No hits for Shadow. 2 hits for free. 1 hit from Post. Press. A Great Host. Interesting. Okay. I'm surprised no Desperate Battle here. This feels tailor-made for a desperate battle. But 2 hits for Shadow, 2 hits for free, and then the Great Host triggers. Another press, of course. No card, no card. Wow. Okay. Well, Shadow gets its one hit that it needed, so elves are at war. Shadow has 2 points. Gondor is manually mustered to war, which... Oh, I just started saying it because I assumed. Southrons and Easterlings are moved down, and Gondor starts mustering in Pelargir and Lamedon. Interesting. Interesting priority there. What do you do here as Shadow? You have Shadow is moving, so in that sense, putting the Southrons and Easterlings into play seems good, but you got to get the Witch King, right? Yeah, okay. Witch King and Lorien. All right. Shelob's Lair and Shadow's Gather. Shadow's Gather could be pretty useful. That's you can just move out of Moranon or Minas Morgul, and then the Barad-dûr army can teleport to them. Not strictly the most efficient, but it's kind of nice. Or you can do like take Fords and then Lorien teleports down to Fords. With no Gandalf the White in play, that might be a legitimate strategy. Just bulldoze Rohan. There and back again for the free. You've already lost several members of the Fellowship, so it might be a little scary to do that, but a Brave Stand is really handy. And an Imrahil, so that could be good. 1 eye allocated. 2 eyes rolled, and so, yep, pretty decent rolls. Still slow movement for the free. The Fellowship's going pretty slow. Shadow moves with a character die. Interesting. To Fords. Hey, I wonder if my prediction is going to happen here. And there's the 2 hits. Wow, good hit for Shadow there. Decides to leave 2 guys behind. Yeah, that muster in your die pool is probably pre-allocated for getting the Southrons and Easterlings to war. But that's really quite a small army, even with the reinforcements. Interesting. Edoras to Westamnet and Iron Hills to Erebor kind of forces I would say it forces the Shadow's hand that they have to put Helm's Deep under right now, except the free people don't have any die that could move Westamnet into Helm's Deep, so they would have to Elven Ring, which I think is not a worry. So the Lorien / Dol Guldur / Moria army comes down to the Fords of Isen, and that's a respectably sized army. I would say it's barely enough to take Rohan sometimes, but it should be plenty. Should. And the free people do spend the Elven Ring. Lamedon to Pelargir and Westamnet Helm's Deep. I mean, sure. Not really getting the Pelargir move, but I suppose. Helm's Deep is put under. Fellowship moves. Safe. Helm's Deep is attacked. I guess you have a hybrid and a Elven Ring that you can use on the muster, so you can just bulldog Rohan down before they get these musters into useful places meaningfully. I assume this is the desperate battle. It is indeed. 3 hits for Shadow, 3 hits for 2 hits for free. Two hits, right? No, never mind. No hits for free. Draws into another desperate battle from the Witch King. Decides to risk a no card. Gets his hit. All right. Takes 1 on the swing back from the free. Man, this is the stuff to some extent Shadow Dreams are made of. Less so the crowning of Aragorn turn 1, but Helm's Deep has fallen, Lorien has fallen. You're at your 9 dice. Of course, Edoras musters Westamnet and Barad-dûr. Okay, Helm's Deep to Westamnet and Barad-dûr to Gorgoroth. Faramir's Rangers, it's unfortunate you have to spend it without getting the hits, but I don't know, I'd be a little tempted to play Imrahil here instead. But, he moved the units as if he played Imrahil, but did not play the card. I'm assuming. Yeah, okay. All right. And then a dual army move. Yep. Hem in Edoras and move Barad-dûr to Minas Morgul. So, makes sense. It is unfortunate. Rohan will probably get one more muster. 2 elites in Edoras could turn the tide of this battle, but probably not, especially if Shadow plays a good card now. Horndark, that has the possibility of making this reverse itself. And this is if it does, this is how Rohan sometimes is. You poke him with a stick and suddenly your arm is missing. Shadow draws Black Captain commands and new powers rising, though. That will probably turn off any meaningful swing back from Rohan. What do you discard here? Is Shadow? Morgul Wound, maybe, actually? Shelob's Lair? Morgul Wound. All right. 1 eye allocated. None more rolled. Man, Shadow has rolled 0 eyes. That's not true, but close. And the free gets their movement. So maybe a Gandalf the White coming in. Edoras does get its muster. Edoras is attacked with a character card, playing a card, I assume a Great Host? Oh, Desperate Battle. That makes sense. 3 hits for Shadow, 1 for free, and that's, I'm quite certain. The end draws into Hill Trolls, no card, gets his hit, gets a hit back, and Rohan's down. All right. The downside to all of this is Shadow has 5 points. Great, wonderful. Where are your other 5 coming from? Gondor's at war with Aragorn and Boromir and Imrahil in play. And they've shown they have Faramir's, although they, you maybe are choosing to ignore that you saw that. This could go sideways really fast. But maybe the Easterlings gather up and go take Erebor at some point, so you don't have to completely remove Gondor from the map. Southrons and Easterlings are put to war. Makes sense. Shadow is moving. Yep, that's some Shadow movement right there. Gorgoroth to Moranon, Minas Morgul to North Ithilien, Edoras to Fold, and Far Harad to Near Harad. Yep. So just collapsing in on Gondor makes sense. Leaves 1 guy in Minas Morgul just so in case there's a sneaky Osgiliath scouts. Makes sense. 3 people passes. Interesting. Going around. Why? North Ithilien to Dead Marshes and Fold to Druiden. Not parsing that. So I get, okay, Free People doesn't have any musters. So if you attack Osgiliath, it's fairly likely, one of the regulars escapes and gets into Minas Tirith. Okay, makes sense. Fellowship moves, safe. Stack and Druid Forest and Umbar. All right. Another Elven Ring for a muster in Minas Tirith. Wow. Fellowship is 3 moves from Rivendell and has spent 2 Elven Rings already. Especially when the Shadow has 2 Palantirs showing. That sucks. Minas Tirith is put under. Fellowship moves again, really hoping to lose Gandalf here. They get an eye, and that I'm quite certain will kill Gandalf. Will it kill Gandalf on the 1 reveal, or will he risk the Moria tile? He kills Gandalf to the eye, and could have waited, but oh well. Hill Trolls is played on Minas Tirith. That's a good use of that card. Gandalf the White comes in, makes sense. We know, of course, that that Free People has Horndark, or the Ents Awake, so they are threatening an Ents play. Could New Powers Rising, if you're feeling particularly scared about that. Not sure it's worth it, but you could. And he chooses to. It's certainly safe. And sets you up actually for a sneaky Rivendell play, or even a Grey Havens play at some point. I like it. I think in the end I like that quite a bit. You're not in a rush in the south. per se. You don't need it this turn to play something. And this just prevents all sorts of shenaniganery, to use the technical term. Free People draws another int, so now, not that Shadow knows this, but that's, of course, very good for them that they did, in fact, play News Powers Rising. What do you play? What do you discard here as Shadow, or as free? I'd be a little scared to throw Swords and Eriador with Rage so tempting for Shadow here, but it's probably the weakest card. Maybe Endanes? Don't know there. He moved a strategy card. I didn't see which one it was. It was Swords. Okay, and stare at it. Yep, staring at those is hard. Really wish it said which card was discarded. Anyhoozle. Oh, geez. Shadow drew Nazgul Strike and Corsairs. Corsairs, what a draw here. One eye allocated. One more rolled. Not a lot of attacks, though. Lots of Palantirs. Although, with an Elven Ring and Corsairs and Black Captain, quite a few of those are actually attacks if Shadow wants them to be. One will is spent as free to get an elite in Dol Amroth. That makes sense. Are we going to Corsairs here? He draws. Okay. A Deadly Strife. That's, of course, good. Fellowship hides. Attack Minas Tirith. Interesting. Okay. Strategy card. Is it a Deadly Strife? It is. Oh, versus a no card. Shadow gets 4. That's about what you expect, and 4 back. So Shadow will take that trade. Draws into Fighting Uruk-hai, which can be played here. No card, no card. Interesting, no card. Oof. 3 hits for Shadow, and the splat goes Minas Tirith. Holy cow. Interesting. This is quite the game for Shadow. I'll be interested to see what happens. Fellowship plays Faramir's. Yeah. Missing into his Gilead. Corsairs. Everyone into Dol Amroth. Okay. Get Aragorn undercover so he can't go Dead Men in Rohan. Shadow, what do you play here? Black Captain Commands, I guess? Yep. Oh, shovel everybody onto Dol Amroth? Oof, that's... Not quite sure that's worth it, but okay. Character card, Cruel as Death, I assume? Versus a Brave Stand. 1 hit for Shadow, 2 hits for Shadow. Oof, only 1 back out for free. He takes the 2 regulars. He's not holding Círdan's. Why would you do that? I mean, you have 2 captains there, I guess, so it kind of doesn't matter. Maybe you're just hoping to draw into Círdan's. Draws into Words of Power. That'll be actually kind of nice. Although Ringwraiths Abroad, especially while you're holding a Palantir, probably not worth spending on that. What do you spend here? A Black Breath, actually. Could have played Nazgul Strike with the potential of killing a captain. No card, though, and Valor is played. Yep. 2 incoming from Shadow, 4 outgoing from free. Yeah, this was kind of how that was going to go. Surely you stop as Shadow here. Press again. Haul. Why? Okay. Strategy card is played for Shadow, and it's Onslaught. You just want this over. 2 more 6s. And then 5 hits back. The Witch King is dead. Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Fighting Uruk-hai indeed. Well, that's problematic. Now, the force pool for Gondor is 4 regulars now. and leader. That's not good. Interesting. Okay. Plays Elven, or draws into Elven Rope. Free People does. Consolidates North Dunland to South Dunland. I guess those guys could walk around the southwest to go kill Gondor. You just need more armies at this point. I don't strictly hate that. And then Moradon moves to Daggerlad. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Regulars in Pelargir and Lossarnach. Druid and Forest, Dead Marshes to Druid and Forest, South Dunland, Gap of Rohan. We're starting to move down. I'd probably have waited on the Dunland army and get Daggerlad, get Osgiliath under. I'd be a little tempted to put. Ooh. You could be setting yourself up for a world of hurt here. Shadow, you have not reinforced Umbar. And the Free People has a move. I guess you have an Elven Ring. Okay, so you were safe there. Fellowship moves and is safe. You use the Elven Ring to reinforce Umbar and to go to North Ithilien. Okay, whew. No sneaky backdoor Umbar and then Woodland Realm and Rivendell threatened stuff. New round. Free People is up to 6 dice versus your 8, which is pretty scary. You draw Balrog, which is utterly useless, and Denethor's Folly, which is late, although the Devilry will work with the army you have in Minas Tirith. Free People gets Mithril Coat and Sting and King Brand's Men. Largely unhelpful here, but good cards. Fellowship, okay, 1 eye allocated. 1 more roll. Decent roll for free. Or for Shadow. Free rolls no movement. Interesting. That's a kind of scary roll. Do you just burn 2 Ents and get Elven Rope in play with one of the Palantirs? Ha! That's exactly. We start with 2 hits from one of them, and then just play Elven Rope, not the other Ent. Interesting. Trying to indicate you don't have another one, maybe? Shadow draws King is revealed. That could actually be worth its time to be played. You have a Palantir. What else would you be doing with it? The Ringwraiths are abroad, I guess. Leader in Pelargir, regular in Dol Amroth. The Gap of Rohan army is going around. I don't like that move. North Ithilien to Dead Marshes. I would rather just consolidate Druid and Forest. Oh, okay. You're worried about Gondor going and retaking Rohan or reopening Rohan. And the Rohan pool is, of course, still scary. That would be very sad. Oh, okay. He undoes. And redoes. Okay. That's fine. Character card is drawn. It's House of Stewards, so that is a card that can be played. That army is going all the way around. King Brand's Men is played for effect. I don't know. I would rather consolidate armies in Osgiliath. You could have quite the stack in Osgiliath to threaten something, surely. Yep. And then the Easterlings from South Rune, really? Okay. And then the last of Gondor. Whoa, what are we doing here? Okay, Woodland Realm recruits an Elven regular, and Dol Amroth recruits the last Gondorian regular. So Dol Amroth is back up to 5 combat dice. The King is revealed as played for effect with the muster, not the Palantir. I assume Ringwraiths are abroad, then shall be played. The North is mustered. Something goes wacky doodle. Okay. Ringwraiths are abroad is played, and Dol Amroth is attacked. with the only Nazgul on the board. The one from King is revealed. Sure, but you're not taking that, surely. We go into another round. Free People draws File and Last Battle. Both pretty good cards. What do you chuck here? Probably the end, honestly. Shadow draws Dreadful Spells and Rage. Rage is a little bit late. Would have been nice to save some moves and have that earlier, but maybe it wouldn't have been worth it. Shadow throws away a Daylight? Or Free People throws away a... Maybe I missed something there. I don't think I did. Fellowship declares. One eye allocated. One more roll. Lots of musters. Only one attack. And that's a lot of move for free. The Fellowship could really get a move on. Fellowship moves. Safe. You're attacking Dol Amroth. I guess all you need is 3 hits. Not that it's correct. What I would do here is muster a billion Nazgul and then Dreadful Spells it to death with the Palantir. You'd have to get the Nazgul there at some point with a different turn, but that'd be funnier. Strat card versus character card. It's Devilry versus Brave Stand. So 3 dice. All you need are some 5s. And there's 3 5s. Okay, well. Sure. Dol Amroth falls. Just like that. Pooh. Fellowship moves again. Hit for 3. Assumably you'll lose. You randomed into... Why not just take Gimli and then a Hobbit? I'm confused. The Hobbit sits in Fords of Isen rather than Fangorn? Muster an elite in North Dunland? Sure. Riders of Theoden. Riders of Theoden is played! Of course! Fun fact, for people who haven't watched my videos about the Lords of Middle-earth tournament I did, Riders of Theoden can be played where there's a companion. So now there's an army in Fords of Isen. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. You're continuing to muster in North Dunland. Really? Not in Orthanc? And Helm's Deep is recaptured. For free. North Dunland keeps mustering, I guess, but man. Helm's Deep reinforces. The scores are backwards, but that's fine. Then Rage. Oh, okay, Rage to Gap. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. And Gondor consolidates in Pelargir. That's a big enough army to go retake Dol Amroth. Let's go take a quick look at the Rohan force pool. 6 regulars, 2 leaders. Not a lot, especially when you only have the 1 muster point. That makes it really inefficient to muster there. And no other nations at war that have units. At least it feels bad. Shadow puts a regular in both of their strongholds. I guess they're concerned about Pelargir taking Umbar. Yeah, that makes sense. And we're into the next round. Grey Company. A little late. Breaking of the Fellowship and Horde from the East for Shadow. So their last Deadly Strife. Celeborn, Scaladrium, Daylight, and Grey Company, which is a brave stand, but the companions are dead, so never mind. Fellowship declares in Western Emyn 1 eye allocated. 3 more rolled. Oof. 2 moves for Fellowship. 2 Palantirs, though. The Fellowship moves and is safe against 4 eyes total. An elite is mustered in Isengard. Fellowship moves again. Safe again. Ugh. Nazgul Strike is played for the one Nazgul. He gets 3 hits, and it's a 3, so that's the rest of the Fellowship gone. And another Hobbit joins into Helm's Deep. Sure. Mithril Coat and Sting is played, just flat. That makes sense. Leaves 1 elite in Orthanc, and moves out with a 2/5/5. That should be enough to take Helm's Deep. It does muster a regular, an unfortunate muster of just 1/2, half a muster. You have literally nothing else that can be done. That's unfortunate. And Helm's Deep's put under. The last Elven Ring is spent, of course it is, to move the Fellowship, get enough to get to Mordor. Is hit, of course. A 0 reveal, though, so because Gollum's Guide, it's not a reveal. We have a game on our hands. For a game that was so done, turn 5, it's turn 8, and we got a game. Fellowship draws Guards of the Citadel, which won't matter because there are no Gondor units anymore, and Wizard Staff, which won't matter because there's no wizard anymore. Technically there is a wizard. Anyway, Candles of Corpses will probably not matter, and half orcs and goblin men has a distinct possibility of mattering. Fellowship declares in, and Balrog's killed. Yep, that makes sense. The hunt pool is very free people friendly. Very Gollum friendly. Shadow allocates the 1 eye they can and must. Rolls 3 more. Man, they're so low on attacks, and 3 moves and a will for free. But against 4 eyes, they start with Entmoot. Yep, that makes sense. Can we snipe the Sorrow Man? Yes, we can. And place File. Oh no, this has turned so very, very sideways. Shadow has 1 leadership on the board total. Oh no. Shelob's Lair is played. Yeah. Pray to high heaven, he draws the red tile. A 1 reveal. He just takes it. Yeah. Helm's Deep is attacked with the 2/5/0. Plays a strategy card. I assume it's the Deadly Strife. It's a We Come to Kill. That makes even more sense. Versus a Brave Stand. So Brave Stand was effectively a daylight here. 0 incoming from Shadow, 1 outgoing from Free. A 5 post roll, only 1 hit. So that's unfortunate, but press. Now the Deadly Strife, surely. Still no. Devilry versus Daylight. Just drag out all of his cards. Makes sense. 1 hit for Shadow, 2 for Free. Press. Surely now. No card? Really? No hits from Shadow, 2 from Free. And then he stops because he has to. The Fellowship moves again. 5 dice in the pool. It's a 1. He just tanks it. Candles of Corpses is played. Yeah, I guess you don't have a lot of choices right now. Certainly no leadership. Yeah, none. No hits. With Gollum as guide, that makes sense. And the army from Pelargir moves to Lamedon, threatens the retake of Dol Amroth. Makes total sense. Some stuff gets undone, and then we fix it. The mouth, yep. With the muster, in this situation, you just get the mouth. Dol Amroth is put under siege. And Free People has a charge and a Valor. The Valor, of course, is being the really good card here. A retake of Dol Amroth is quite possibly in the cards. Free People draws the last Ents. Will Helm's Deep defeat another army? And Círdan's ships. Oh. Oh, man. Talk about a reversal. Fellowship okay. 1 eye allocated. 2 more rolled. Shadow is so low on attacks. Plenty of moves for the Fellowship. 1 moves instantly. Hits Mithril Coat. Sure. File, excuse me. Sure. Why not? Shadow draws Foul Thing, so that's good. Free People moves again, because why not? It's a 1 reveal. Their total corruption going up this mountain has been 1 in 4 moves. Foul Thing is played, draws the 0. They say GG. It's not yet. You could hit the red tile. Shelob's in there. We could reverse this with a Shelob, right? No, 0. Oh no. Oh my goodness. That was near perfect draws from the Fellowship on Mordor. Oh my goodness. What a game. What a reversal. Man. Oh, yeah, I guess if he had drawn Shelob, he would have Mithril Coat and Sting, so it was GG at that point. But, oh, man. Good on Fellowship. The Free People's Gileforn. Good job finding her out. Man. I'm just sitting here in awe of Dol Amroth's reversal and the press and everything. Anyway, thank you, Fat Hobbit and Gileforn, for sharing this game. It was a fun one, a short one, but a fun one. Well, in turn 10, it wasn't that short, but anywho, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.